have the pleasure of speaking with Julianna Peña. Julianna, what you did a couple of months ago just shocked the entire world, obviously. Obviously now a month forward, now you have all the perspective after just achieving what you achieved. You're a world champion. You are the one of the best fighters in the world. What have you learned from this experience, and how are you feeling?
I think the one takeaway that I have learned is now that I have the belt, it doesn't really mean anything. The belt only covers 2 inches of your butt. You got to cover the rest. And I think that I view myself still as a challenger. I view myself as I have a gigantic target on my back, and I have to put in just as much of work, if not more, than I did last time. And I think that that's the one takeaway that I have noticed the most is I wanted this target on my back. Well, you got it now, and now it's time to defend, and now it's time to get in and go get it again. And the only way that you do that is acting like a challenger.
Of course. Now, what are the conversations for your next fight? How's that process going?
You know, I thought that we were going to be fighting July 30th. I heard a few days ago that they don't have a date exactly scheduled, and so the date is up in the air. I'm anticipating us rematching sometime in summer. The date is to be determined still.
What's your relationship with tennis? You're here in the Miami Open. You'll be the special guest tonight. So what's your relationship with tennis? Have you played?
I used to play in high school, and I'm a big fan. I should rephrase. I played in PE, and I really enjoyed it. I was playing other sports when the tennis season was starting, but I do enjoy tennis. I love it a lot, and anytime you can get any professionals that are executing at the top level and it's extremely competitive, I'm in. And it doesn't matter if it's tennis or Formula One racing, whatever it is. I'm a big fan of sports. I was invited and I jumped at the opportunity to be here.
Of course, that's awesome. Right now that you're obviously preparing for your fight, you have no dates, but what's a day in your life like? Like, what do you do? What's your routine? Obviously training, but what do you do for fun? What are the things that you like to indulge maybe?
So I spend a lot of time with my daughter. I take her to school and we do some fun activities on the weekends. And then if I don't have my daughter, I usually spend time like going out eating and spending time with some friends and family. Other than that, I'm just a normal person. I cook, I clean, I mop my own floors, I do my own laundry. Not much has changed.
What's your relationship? Obviously, I'm from Venezuela, so what's your relationship with Venezuela? You're the Venezuelan vixen, and it seems that it's a big part of your identity. So what's that relationship like? What do you think about Venezuela in general?
Sure. So my dad came over to the United States at 14 years old by himself. He was on a scholarship educational program, and he had stayed with the senator's wife, and she was a part of the program, and she said the only way that I'll sign this to go through is if I choose the first student. And they said, sure, no problem. And the first student was my dad. And so he came over by himself at 14 years old, and all of my family was living in Venezuela up until a few years ago. The country's kind of seen some tumultuous times. It's kind of been going under in a sense, and a lot of people have been trying to flee and to leave. So I hosted my family for over a year in my house. I kept them with me and made sure that they made it across safely. They've all applied and have been granted asylum from the country, and so a lot of my family has migrated here to the United States, but there's still a ton of my family left in Venezuela. I haven't been back for many, many years, but my heart goes out to all of the people that are experiencing tough times over there, and of course I just wish that things would get better and that things would go back to normal. But yes, I am Venezuelan. My mom is Mexican and Native American on her side, and so I got more Venezuelan blood coursing through my veins, but I'm very proud to be Venezuelan.
It's a beautiful mix. In terms of the good things about Venezuela, the food, what's your favorite food?
I love tequeños. I love arepas, of course. I got the arepa power. It really gives me that extra hit, punch, power. I love arepas. And yes, tequeños. I love plátano. I like it fried. I like it in the oven. I like it anyway. And that's one of my favorite things. I love the cheese as well.
Of course.
It's like salty. It's beautiful. I love the cheese.
Especially from that part, right? From Chiques,
yes.
from Maracaibo. It's
yes.
like a very good cheese.
I remember when we would go, we would like put the cheese and wrap it like in the tons of plastic, and then the duct tape and like literally like rolls of cheese. I just remember like bringing all this cheese back into the United States because you can't find it.
Of course, yeah, and there's no way.
Yeah, you can't find it.
My last one would be if you have to pick an athlete, somebody that right now you look up to, you admire, or maybe just a couple of people that they're influential to you. Who do you pick? Like, because you say you're a sports fan, right? Like maybe across the sport, who's somebody you admire?
You know, Serena Williams is a big one. I think that she has done so much for women. I think she's done so much for tennis, and I think she's done so much as far as being, you know, the greatest of all time. I really dig her vibes. I dig her energy. I think she's a fighter on the court, and I think that she's got that fighting spirit inside of her, and I really enjoy her as an athlete.
And just one tiny message in Spanish for the Latinos.
Hola Latinos, gracias por apoyarme, and por favor mira mi próxima pelea en julio.